All right, welcome Monkey Nation. It's going to be your live sit rep for Wednesday, October 6th, 2021, coming to you live from the great state of Texas. And so without further ado, let's get over to the boards. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notifications so you get the latest and greatest when it comes out. So here it is, looking at about 200 up, which is slightly higher. Usually we're around the 110, 120 range. It is kind of fluctuating. So we've got some activity going on. Not sure what. We'll continue to watch over the next 30 minutes to see if it kind of mellows out or if it continues to increase. But anyway, that said, let's kind of get into what we have up on the board. Now, I wanted to point this one out because this caught my attention earlier. I've got a couple like this, but this is a Sentry that is actually doing a little work over the Phoenix area. And you can see that's not running touch and goes at the airport. That's actually out there collecting data, it looks like, or I don't know, assisting with air traffic control, as they would probably tell you. But anyway, that one's been out there running around for a little while, and looks like it's headed back east. And we've got a little group of helicopters here over by the Biggs Army Airfield, El Paso area. Those are going to be mostly H-60s. We've got our normal, I guess, trainers up around the Del Rio area. Not seeing too much out in Del Rio right now as we speak. These Ronins are, those are our usual B-350 kind of spy birds, I guess you could say. They recon. Here's one down here in Mexico right now. You can see he's actually doing some data collection even down there. So that's the Mexican military. And so, but yeah, that's what they're up to. It's interesting is I was just actually reading about 10 minutes ago, Oscar El Blue was reporting that Mexico is starting to ship the coconuts, aka the Haitians, out of Mexico and back out of the country to their country. I guess it's because a lot of them left Del Rio and went into Mexico to wait it out, and I guess the Mexican government doesn't want them there, so off they go. And gonna have a lot of that here. I'm telling you, as the numbers that I'm hearing, it's gonna be ugly. And so the other thing too, I'd like to tell you, I heard from a Border Patrol wife today, and her better half has actually got till November 1 to take the mandate, so to speak. And if they do not, and this is for all of Customs and Border Patrol, they will be basically let go. And so that is not something you want to hear when you're in the middle of an immigration crisis, which, by the way, this immigration crisis, folks, is the biggest it's ever been in 20 years. So let that set in, and it's only getting bigger. That's if you just cap it where it is now. But we've already got the caravan coming up. We know that's 60,000. We've heard upwards of 400,000 from Panama officials, and then in Guatemala we've heard upwards of 1 million that are going to be headed our direction. So yeah, this is not good. Not a good time to have people out because of a mandate. So okay. Anyway, got a couple. Looks like G5s heading across the U.S. right now out of D.C. area. Pretty busy here on the East Coast, and Florida for some reason has been very busy. The last couple times I've been watching, been seeing a lot of the Spec Ops guys coming out of the Panhandle headed into Jacksonville, and then got some C-130s up too. But East Coast is still hopping, which is usually time for that to spool down. We'll get a closer look at that in a minute. But let's get over to Flashbang's schedule. And let's see what he was up to for today on Hump Day. Starting out, looks like he's kicking the Candy Crush about 10 a.m., putting his pants on. And it looks like he's meeting today to talk with business leaders and CEO to let them know that it's critical that we get the debt limit increased, which is just what we need. I honestly think we should just let it shut down and just tank this whole thing. It's House of Cards, and let's just force everybody's hand to get this show going, right? So, but anyway, he's that's at 1 o'clock today, and then of course we got our press briefing right here with Peppermint Patty. That's at 12:30, and then it looks like the usual monkey business there going on. Okay. So if you wonder why I called this Jen lady Peppermint Patty, let me just kind of show you real fast because, yeah, pretty much fits. So I just I saw a picture and I was like, that sticks. And so there you have it. So, all right. Anyway, let's get over here real fast to TFRs, check out what's going on. We did have some interesting ones pop up today. We do have our usual stuff going on with air shows, etc. But I'm going to go point out what's going on around the world that's not air shows. So it looks like we got a VIP heading into this area. I imagine we'll see that on somebody's schedule here shortly. And that is, I guess, headed into the Chicago area. And then, of course, that's an air show just outside of the Brown Zone Senior Living Center. And then you get up here in New York, and we've got a couple more. These are all VIPs as well. And I'm not sure. I guess maybe these doing a round robin, out of this area, then over there into the Chicago area. Probably got to collect checks from people, And then this is actually a hazard for an explosion cleanup, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a explosive device cleanup. So that is there. And then this one right here is actually a security TFR. I don't really know what's going on up there at Boston College area, Cambridge University, but that looks like it's in that general area. And so there is that. We get down here to Florida. We've got a handful of others going on as well. That's going to be air show. That's Disney. Looks like it's got some afternoon thunder showers there like usual. That's going to be air show. And then this one right here, I'm not totally sure. Hazards. Oh yeah, it's a gas well. That's what that was. It's a well. It's a gas line thing. Let's see. That's air show. Now I did have this one. This is security, which is down here over Austin. So I don't really know what's going on down there, but there is security going on. Okay. And then we get out here to the East Coast. That's the air show out here in Mexico. These are the usual. These are fires. Fire here. And then we've got border stuff going on here. Now, one thing that doesn't stand out right now, which I find very interesting, and you probably may have noticed it, but we typically have right here along the border, and we've had a permanent TFR for a while, and now we have not one. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it popped back on later. Maybe my app is just not pulling it in or something. But that, folks, is very unusual because I've seen it. I've seen this with a TFR for forever, since as long as I've been watching it. So, okay, let me back out of the TFRs and get over to the other thing. This was the volcanic activity going on today. I show this again. This is because it's tied to ash alerts. And it impacts aviation. And so just want to point that out. This one is blowing big time. That's a Russian one. Now, the one in Japan looks like it's also blowing a lot of ash. We've got 9 volcanoes going right now as we speak. Those are ones that we that have ash alerts now. There are actually a bunch more, like 20 something, and there's 45 active, but there's like 22 other volcanoes that are spewing either ash or lava. We know Kilauea is kind of popping right now. This one out here, La Palma, actually has the airport closed down because it is not only blowing lava, it's blowing a lot of ash too, and so they've got ash problems, air quality problems going on right now as we speak. Now, that was within the last 37 minutes that airport was closed. Now, I want to tell you, too, there is a giant ash plume that's out in this general area that I saw on one of the radars that's kind of drifting off westbound wise. It's large. It's, I don't know, it's carbon or carbon monoxide or whatever it is, dioxide, whatever it is that the volcanoes pump out. But anyway, it was massive. It was out here. So I don't know where that's going to go, what's going to happen, but it's just a data point. I saw it, I was like, holy mackerel, that's insane. So, okay, now let's get over to the couple flights that I was watching today that I thought were interesting. Now, this is an R135. It was flying as SAME 40 today out of Greenville, Texas. And just kind of point out, this is Shreveport over here. This is going to be Dallas-Fort Worth. So out in this general area, you can see him running a route. And so that, folks, they're spying. That's exactly what they're doing. They're watching folks. Now, You don't see an R135 doing this too often. That is grabbing cell data, 100%. All right. So there's a lot of that going on right now, just FYI. And I don't know that it's because we let all these folks into our country as much as it's probably, they'll use that as an excuse, but it's probably them watching us. I'll be honest with you. With everything that's going on, with what I think is coming, this is a pretty good indicator that they're up to something. Okay. And so we'll continue to watch them as they watch us. All right. Now, this is another one. This is a Loma 70. Came out of Fort Bliss today, but you can see same thing. This is El Paso. This is Biggs Army Airfield right here. And you can see they are out collecting data. That's 100%. Now, this is one of your little PC-12s, I think, something along those lines. And so, yeah, there you have it. Now, that one, they're probably collecting on the poppies that are out there, I would imagine. So, welcome to America. All right. Now, let's get over here. There's one more that I had come in today that I thought was interesting. It's from the Belgium Air Force. It was an A400 that kind of rolled in, and it went to, actually came in from Canada, went to Memphis, Tennessee, and then rolled out of Memphis, went back over here. It's now parked at Camp Springs, Maryland. So it's up here in the Brown Zone. All right. And that was an A400. Those not familiar with A400, that is actually a lot like our C-130s. It's just a high wing prop. Okay. Cargo bird. All right. And then these are going to be all of our camber flights for today. They're actually all of these on the camber list. I just happen to be Air Transport International. You can see we've got one out here. Looks like in the Asian Pacific area, Philippines kind of area. This one's actually coming out of Kwajalein, which I thought was interesting. Kwajalein to Hawaii. Don't know what kind of bird that is. Let me see if it's on here. Yeah, doesn't give me a bird. It's actually blank. But and then all these others, you can see them. Miami to Baltimore. A lot of, I think what we've got going on here, I'll be honest with you, when I look at the stuff going on here in the U.S. and the other flights I was looking at today. Now, I'm not going to go into detail like we normally do on the immigration side. We're going to look at some of the other stuff and talk about a little bit. But I will tell you that they are in the process right now of rehoming everybody. So all of the people that came into the country, primarily the poppies, are getting, sent across the United States to their new homes. Okay. So, one thing kind of makes you wonder if it's like a dream sheet, like you had in the military where you're like, hey, I think I want to go to Hawaii, and they send you to, the middle of the desert. So who knows? But, that is what's going on right now. So I'll continue to watch that. And as the southern border thing starts to escalate again and get out of control, we will definitely be talking more about that. Okay. So, but in the meantime, I just wanted to kind of shift focus a little bit, give you a high level of what's really going on with these immigration flights, and then kind of break back to what we normally talk about. And so there it is. All right. So this is going to be Biggs Army Airfield today. Now you can see the arrivals coming in. You can see them, United Airlines rolling in here. There's National Cargo. This is going to be Swift, that's Sun Country, Swift, Southwest down here at the bottom. But this is where they're taking folks. So you've got an Airbus that went to Topeka, Kansas. You had some folks go to Chicago. You had some go to Minneapolis up there in the land of Omar. And then this one's Lake Charles, Louisiana, and Lafayette, Louisiana. So that's where your poppies were headed today. Okay. That's about as much as I'm going to cover those parts of it. We'll look a little bit more on the spycraft going on today, like we just covered. N956TX, this is going to be your Del Rio. This is Texas Department of Public Safety. You can see them running the route here along the borderline, doing a little recon. Now, typically you get up in here, and we've got this general area is actually all covered under a I wouldn't say no fly, but a TFR, temporary flight restriction. Very, very odd. I'm telling you, very odd that is not there anymore, because that has been there for a long time. So makes you wonder. The fact that Abbott is now putting in our National Guard down there, and they're going to be there for 4 months. And all of a sudden, the TFR disappears. Go figure. Okay. All right, let's get over to Guantanamo Bay. Now, today we had a couple flights come in, only one shown on the board. We had a Reach, I want to say 858 or something like that, come in from Norfolk. It actually originated in Boston, went to Norfolk, and then came down to the Guantanamo Bay. Now, it's not on the board. They typically don't show it. You got to catch them kind of going down there, but it was a C-130. And again, not on the board. But then we had this medical flight came in today. This is Medair LLC out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Little Learjet 45. Now, it does show arriving, which I find interesting. It came in from New Orleans, Louisiana. But let me see if we got anything on the departure board, and I'm not seeing it. So it's still there. It hasn't left yet. Let's see if it's on scheduled. Not on scheduled. We'll watch tomorrow to see if that thing leaves, or if it's, scheduled or whatever it may be. We'll watch the board, see if it pops on tomorrow and leaves. But it came in today, arrival at about 4:51 p.m. out of New Orleans. And so, never know. Watch the news. Something like that, when they pop in, it's always kind of, especially when you don't see it leaving, always makes you wonder, right? So, okay. Now, on over to 301 AZ. That's another one of our birds we've been watching. It's a Guantanamo Bay bird, what they call one of our white hats. And so today, that bad dude, actually yesterday, it's kind of back up. It was in the Grand Caymans, went to Opelika. Data point, remember Opelika is going to be one of our black sites. Opelika to Fort Lauderdale, then Lauderdale up to Philly, and then Philly back down to Lauderdale. Now, remember, Lauderdale and Opelika, those are two watch sites that we keep tabs on regularly relative to agency operations. Okay, I just put it that way. So, all right, there's that. And then this is the other white hat, this one N631JS, just kind of backtracking on where it's been. It was at Guantanamo Bay, back to Lauderdale, and then from Lauderdale it went over to Fort Myers, which just hop, skip, and a jump. And then from there, it went to Teterboro, New Jersey, and then now it's over in Buffalo or Niagara International. And so we'll watch that one, see if it comes back down to the spa, what it does from there. But, okay. Now, let's see here. There was one other thing I was going to talk about. We'll get to that in just 1 second. Just want to make sure I didn't forget it. But just wanted to show you guys also that Trump is going to be heading to Iowa amid record high poll numbers in the key 2024 state. So he's going to be there on Saturday. So that looks pretty good if you guys are in Iowa. Hope you guys enjoy that. But he has been throwing a lot of rocks lately. So this is kind of an interesting deal. Notice the people he's starting to endorse. I'm telling you, he's not acting any differently than he did when he was actually POTUS. So it's kind of interesting. Only difference is we don't know where the heck he is half the time, right? So it looks like he's going to be in Iowa on Saturday night. So there's that. Now, here's what I want to talk about. We were talking earlier about Durham, whether or not, and I asked this in the poll in the live chat here tonight with the folks off Patreon, is whether or not Durham is a unicorn or if he's a dark horse. And so I've got kind of mixed opinions on this guy. I think he blew his opportunity to do what he needed to do back when Trump was in office. And I think he would have had a heck of a lot of momentum and support had he pulled the trigger then. But now it seems like things are just kind of trickling. But we've been watching him release some indictments here lately, and pretty consistently over the last 2 months, things have started to kind of pop out. And so this being one of the latest ones, it's a tech exec -1 revealed amid a Durham subpoena of the Clinton campaign law firm. So he's got his sights still on her. So, kind of, I guess like a pit bull, man. He just ain't letting up, and he's just going to keep going. So eventually, maybe he'll have some success. We'll pray for him that he does have some success. But man, wouldn't that be nice to see that one right there go down in flames, right? So there's that. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out about this dude, he's pretty low key. You don't see him. He's a man of few words. But the thing that I always find interesting is these folks right here, we haven't seen them in a long time. And you think about it, and there's more than just these guys, right? But you've got Rod, right? Where's Rod? Where's Mueller? Where's Lisa Page? Where are they, right? Sally Yates, when's the last time you saw her? Comey, anybody seen that guy? Loretta Lynch, when's the last time you saw her? Brennan, we haven't seen him in a while. Ugly dude, man. Mercy. Now, McCabe, I think there may be some sightings of him going on, but then this other one here, Gina Haspel, that's another one. They just up in, I don't know, maybe they're under witness protection. Maybe something, we don't know is going on, but those folks have gone very, very quiet for a very long time, actually back when Trump was in. So, if this guy is out, spearfishing, man, then maybe that's what's going on, and it's just so quiet we're not hearing anything about it, and it's just his MO maybe. But we'll keep our eyes on him. Again, we're watching the spa. We're watching that place to be popping. The biggest I've seen it yet is this year was from mid-May to the end of June. It was about a 6-week period that was off the charts. But right now it's quiet, and I mean really quiet. And we do know that Flashbang has been talking about standing up an immigration location for kind of spillover, with people coming in, which is basically it's he's got other methods to his madness for sure, right? All of these camps popping up all over the U.S. We're at 33 right now, so if and that's just what we know of, and I'm sure there are others. But we'll have to certainly keep our eye on this one. We'll keep our eye closely on Guantanamo Bay, like I always do, just to make sure that we're not getting a bait and switch here, and we end up going down there as patriots, right? So, okay. Now, speaking of bait and switch, this is going to be your Department of Non-Justice, and this is N721AL. Was out in Omaha, Nebraska, and then back to D.C. So it took a team out there, it looks like. Started out here in Idaho Falls, went to Omaha, and then Omaha back to Manassas. Typically, they'll go out on a Monday and then come back on a Friday to pick people up. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That's usually a little go team, just FYI. This is the same bird that we saw pop into Key West, when there was a security TFR down there. There's a lot of things that just... this little dude right here always pops in just before a news cycle, if you know what I'm saying, okay? Now, the other ones, this is going to be C-101. I wanted to point this one out because this is a strange flight. Now, this is what that bird usually looks like. It's actually one of the Coast Guard aircraft, right? It's a nice little G5 that they fly. And this is the one that's usually 101 is going to be your national security director. 102 is going to be the deputy, I think, a national security director. But let me back this up. This is the craziest thing. Now, over the weekend, this bad dude went from not being this plane to a helicopter. All right. And they're out here in Sacramento, and they go to this lake, and they're flying around this lake. And I don't know what they're doing out here. But I would imagine that satellite is an old photo because that lake level is probably not what it looks like there. But for some reason, Homeland Security has got a very big interest in this lake over the weekend. So don't know what they were doing out there, what was going on, but that's what they're up to. All right, so there's that guy. Now we get over here to C-202, and I just want to point out where he is right now. New York over to Washington, D.C. So he was up there in the Big Apple. But on Tuesday, and this was yesterday, so Tuesday... Or actually, let's just back up a little bit. Sunday, he was up in Connecticut. We know who's up there. That's going to be Durham. And then he went from Connecticut back to D.C., D.C. over to LaGuardia, and then LaGuardia over here to Reagan National in D.C., which is the Brown Zone. So that's where he has been. Remember, that's the Deputy of National Security, okay? All right. Let's get back to our main map real fast. Got a couple more minutes, and then... we will go take a look at what else is going on in the skies besides just here. Now, let me do real fast. I want to see how many H-60s we have up as we get into that. So we're at 23 right now. Actually, let me take that plane off. 23 H-60s. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll see another little spur of flights where we had last time. But northwest is actually hopping. Northeast is really hopping. I don't know what's going on up here. There is a lot of traffic. C-130s, a couple C-17s, another C-130, C-130. So we've got a handful of C-130s. Got a little Chinook up here, up there near Rochester, and then an H-60, another Chinook here. So there is that, and then we got a lot of C-17s up in the air, still flying. And a little bit of trainers going on here. Now this right here, PLF 105, that's Poland military. Coming in, I don't know where they're headed, but coming out of DC, which is interesting. All right. Got a B-52 up right there. That's going to be your night watch right here. So interesting. So this is Lubbock here, a little fighter up, B-52, and then you've got night watch that is now airborne. Now they do change call signs from time to time, like that thing's been Gordo and Club 44 and all kinds of different stuff. And so, but that's going to be your Doomsday aircraft. Okay. It looks like he is taking off out of Abilene. And let's see, another little Sentry up here. That is, looks like he's running some routes, and then a B-350. Well, look at this. And it looks like he's also running some routes. So there's your little B-350. Again, that's Spybird, and they have a school up here that they train these guys, and I want to say like companies actually that does the installs is up here too. So so this may or may not be anything. They do this quite a bit out here. That may just be some testing as they calibrate the system, okay, before it goes to a customer or as they train people. So may or may not be anything. Don't know. So there's another Sentry headed back. That's the one that was over Phoenix. And then we got this little cluster up here over Colorado, a handful of H-60s up, C-130, and then one on ground. That gray is on ground when they're on there like that. So I did see something pop into the question board asking about if these TFRs expire. Yes, they do. They do expire. Typically, when they're permanent status, like Beale Air Force Base and the Brown Zone. There's one here that G.W. Bush has over his house in Dallas. Those don't expire. They kind of stay. And so this one is pretty unusual because I didn't think it had an expiration date. I thought it was a permanent TFR. And for that thing to disappear, don't know what's going on there, but that's interesting. Very interesting. Beale Air Force Base has a permanent one as well. So okay. All right. So those folks that are in the chat right now, don't forget for Patreon, we bounce on Wednesdays. After this, we do a 30-minute Q&A. So you guys make sure you jump over into the Q&A board, and I'll see you there in just a minute. Everybody else, you guys be safe. Stay frosty. We'll be back on Friday. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.